What are the most important things to look for when searching for a Shidduch?
Say you were buying a house and you came to me and asked me, in buying a house, what's the most important thing to look out for? So what am I going to tell you? Make sure that the electrical is working in the house. Make sure the house has a good foundation. The air conditioning is working. That the plumbing works. That there are enough bedrooms to meet your needs. Make sure the roof doesn't have leaks. That there's a kitchen that functions. I mean, there's a million things that you need to have when you buy a house. And there's no one thing you could say, if it has good electrical, then it's fine. No, it needs to have all these different elements. And the same thing obviously is true when it comes to Shidduch. There are many, many things. And these things, you can't even say what is the most important things because many of them are li'kuva. In other words, many of these things that you're looking for are absolutely vital. And in the absence of these qualities, then you should not be considering a prospective Shidduch without them. It's not one thing. There are many things. I mean, just quickly to run through some of the things. Obviously, number one, what many people will tell you is you want to make sure that the person is a kind person. And there's a yesod in that for the Torah, obviously. When Avram sent Eliezer to go and find the Shidduch for Yitzchak, and Eliezer wanted to make sure that the girl who he was going to bring was someone who was worthy of entering the house of Avram Avinu and becoming the mother of Klal Yisrael. And how did he test Rivka? He didn't open up a Gemara and test for her or any other test of frumkeit. He Pasha wanted to know how she's going to treat a bunch of camels, how kind she was. So that's obviously a very important thing. And just to note that sometimes a person can be kind b'chitzonius and b'pnimius is not so much. It's important to know not only that they're kind when they're in front of other people and when they're showing off, but that they're taka kind even when they're in private and even to people who are on the lower rungs of society. There are many other things. You need to make sure, obviously, that your spouse is emotionally supportive. You need to make sure your spouse is honest. That's something which you can't compromise on. Spouse has to be responsible. It can't be lazy. It has to be someone who's able to do a job and do tasks. You want someone who's humble, not someone who's narcissistic or self-absorbed. And because there are so many different things that are important in a Shidduch, that's what makes Shidduch so complicated. If there was only one thing that you were supposed to look for, then Shidduch would be much easier. But it's not. And that's why you need to get to know a person, and more importantly, you need to put in a lot of research. And the research is tricky because you need to hear from someone who knows the boy or the girl, knows them well, and not only has a superficial understanding or sees them out in the public, but has a knowledge of who they really are. But at the same time, if you talk to someone who's the person's best friend, you're probably not going to get an honest response. So finding the right people to talk to and getting the information is not always easy, but it's absolutely crucial when pursuing a Shidduch, because there's not one thing. There are many, many different things that you have to look out for when you're looking for a Shidduch. That said, I do want to focus on one Nakuda, and this Nakuda is something which the Rebbe talks about in his letter, which the Rebbe sent and sends to Chasanim and Kalas, and the Rebbe gives a bracha to the Chasan and Kala, v'yivnu bayis b'Yisrael, binyan adi ad, al yisoidei ha-Torah v'ha-mitzvah. The Rebbe says that they should build a faithful house in Yisrael, in Israel, amongst Klal Yisrael, a binyan adiyad, everlasting binyan, and it should be al yisoidi on the foundations of Torah mitzvahs. And the Rebbe then continues, as Torah mitzvahs is illuminated by the Moyer Shabbat Torah, by the light in Torah, which is Torah Sachasidus. So the Rebbe is saying that the foundation of a marriage has to be Torah u mitzvah. Al yisoidi ha Torah v'ha mitzvah. That's the foundation of a marriage. And that, the Rebbe says, is the key, that it should be a binyan adiyad, that it should be something which is an everlasting, a marriage which is permanent and which is lasting, if it is on the foundation of Torah and mitzvah. And this is very important in terms of searching for a Shidduch. And the question is, why is the person getting married? This is an interesting question to ask. What is the person looking for in marriage? For most people, what is the yesod of marriage? What is the foundation of marriage? What is the reason why people get married? So for most people, marriage is about, I like someone, so I'll get married to them because I like them and I enjoy being in their presence. So it makes me feel good being with that person. That's one foundation for a marriage. A foundation for marriage is that it's good for me. Obviously, the problem with this foundation is that this is a foundation which is very easily undermined. I might be attracted to you today, but in 5 years from now, I might not be attracted to you. And that's on a very superficial level. But even if you're talking about, I might be attracted to your personality today, but in 5 years from now, I might not be attracted to your personality. I might see other aspects of your personality that I don't like. I might lose my taste for your sense of humor. You're not funny to me anymore. What if I find someone who I'm more attracted to? So if the yisoid is what I like and what I want, and if that's why I'm getting married, then the marriage will last as long as the yisoid is. That foundation lasts. And that's not a very, very steady foundation at all. The Rebbe says that a real yisoid for a marriage, a yisoid which brings about a binyan adiyad, an everlasting edifice, is a yisoid which doesn't change. Your attractions might change. But if your yisoid in getting married is Torah and mitzvahs, is your desire to do the ratzon of Hashem, Hashem's will, which is to establish a mishpacha, and to raise children in the ways of Torah and mitzvahs, and to create a Yiddish house, which is a center of light and of Torah and of Kedusha, a house, a center from which the light of the Torah Kedusha then spreads outwards, a place where you have orchim, a place of Torah and mitzvahs. That's a foundation which never ever goes away. That's what you should be looking for, again, together with all the other things which you spoke about, which are all very, very important. But you want to make sure that the person, and this is something you want to talk to the person about, that there is not only shared values, but a shared commitment to something higher. A shared commitment to something higher and something which is permanent and unchanging. And then the marriage is based on something which isn't changing. And then no matter what happens, even if you're not so attracted, but that wasn't the yisoid of your marriage. And what the yisoid of your marriage is still remains. And that also means that the person who you're looking for shouldn't be looking for so much chitzonius in marriage. So if, let's say, you've been rejected by a boy or a girl because you're too short, or because you have the wrong hair color, or because you have freckles, or because you're too heavy, or because you're not gezha, you're probably better off that you're rejected by that person, because the fact that the person has those preferences which are so chitzonius, it kind of tells you that what the person is really looking for in marriage is not the right priorities. I like someone with this hair color, but what happens in 5 years from now? You don't like that hair color anymore. If you're looking for chitzonius, you're missing the point. And the point has to be that you're looking to do something and to create something which is higher, which is a binyan adiyad, a bayis neman b'Yisrael. And on that note, obviously then one has to look in the mirror and ask themselves, okay, I'm asking now, what should I be looking for in a shidduch from the other person? But the question is, am I looking for the right things in marriage? If I want the marriage to last, it's not only enough that the one who, the boy or the girl that I want to meet and marry, that they should have all this quality, which is that they're committed to building a binyan adiyad al yisodi atayrav mitzvah, but I also have to have that. And sometimes we need to take a little time ourselves to make sure that our focus is correct and our priorities are correct and our reasons for wanting to get married are correct. And once we have that, then we find the other person also who shares those values and shares that commitment, and together you build a binyan adiyad al yisodi atayrav mitzvah, taka as illuminated by Teres HaChassidus.